Good evening. It's Monday night and it's Airfix and Chill. We've got 6 in the chat tonight. I've invited a few more, so they may pop on later. Which will be interesting. But good evening, folks. Hope that everyone is well. I thought we can't sidetrack what I would call the great debate on this Stalwart that's being panned by here, there, and everywhere. I've actually, I'm in the process of building it, and I'm nearly done. And I know when I did my review, I never picked up on the sink marks and after showing pictures, and I've had video calls with a lot of folks showing them the bits, and they've gone back and looked at my video. It wasn't very noticeable on my kit. That said, I'm not going to deny that there are people that have had an issue with the quality control of this kit. But should you pan it just by an online review, or should you buy it and wait and see what you get inside the box, basically? So I'm going to throw that first out to you. Do you think people are criticizing Airfix a bit too harshly, considering over the last 5 years we've had some phenomenal releases? Gannet, Jaguar, I want to chuck in the Ferret Scout, because that was another build that I found very pleasing. It was, there's certain kits that are Mojo builds. I think the Ferret Scout is a Mojo build, and what we've seen so far from Airfix new tooling has been exceptional. Seeking, but then again, there were people who had a bit of short shot in the Seeking. Yeah. Are people being a bit too harsh on Airfix with this release? And I'll throw that out to whoever wants to jump in first.
I used to mend washing machines for a living many years ago, and I used to visit people, and they would always tell me when stuff went wrong, but no one ever phoned me up after having had a washing machine for 5 years and said, just thought I'd give you a quick call. That machine's been brilliant. It worked really well. No one ever did that.
Yeah.
So I think that quite a lot of this is actually a non-random sample of the worst news that you can find, because human beings are naturally attuned towards the slightly negative.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm invalidating what people say, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. One person's opinion is just as valid as anybody else's. But notwithstanding that, the people who have done the model and had a lovely time with it, thank you very much, may very well not be heard tonight, shall we say. That's all I can really say, and I would say right now that I haven't got the Stalwart. I've not bought one yet. I know I should be poking a fork in my leg later.
There's a link in the comments if you want to buy one.
Right, okay, I better go and do that straight away.
I'll jump to James because. Sorry, James, what's that?
Can I just ask Sinners, did you work on twin tabs with mangles?
No, I came slightly after the mangles.
Yeah.
James, I'll go to you next because hang on, where the compressor's going on? I turned it off. Must have turned the wrong switch off. You've got the Stalwart. How was your kit in the box? Was it okay?
The kit was fine. There was a little bit of sink.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's evident that it had been rushed. I'm being pulled out of the mould when it was still warm. A couple of sprues were bowed like.
I'm straining to hear you, James. I'm sorry. It might just be me.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can up his mic levels a minute.
Hold on.
Edit mic settings.
Oops.
So I want to hear what you're saying.
They basically will. You killed my bloody mic.
There you go.
We are professional here, lads.
I promise you.
Yeah.
It's
You had a little bit of sink in your kit, but nothing drastic, no.
Nothing drastic.
Yeah. Has anybody ever heard of the Flory car? So Bill Flory used to do reviews for Airfix, and I think he had about 5 on the bounce, maybe a little bit less. When he had a kit and there was short shot in it, or there was something that twisted, or and I remember going and talking to the Airfix team, and they mentioned it there to me that it was like the Flory cast, that if it was a reviewer online, if there was going to be a problem with the kit, it'll be somebody that will be doing a review on it online. And touch wood, I think I've only ever had 2, and one of them was a vintage classic. It was there was a part missing, wasn't there, on Concord, I think it was, back in the day. But I've been very lucky in that sense. But then we're going back to the old argument of quality control. And I wish Nigel was on, because he knows quite a bit about injection moldings. It has been said that if you'd left it another 10 seconds in the tool before it was opened and then dry, that 10 seconds would have stopped a lot of the shrinkage. I've spoken to another predominant plastic injection manufacturer who said quite clearly that there's either 2 ways it will go. It will either have flash or it will have sink. It won't have both, which I thought was an interesting take on it. So
I think there's some Revell kits which would disagree with.
Yeah,
MPC, man.
Yeah, but I think. But in all fairness, though, it's that cooling down period is where the shrinkage happens.
Yeah.
And we can discuss it forward and back. About the flash issue or the sink issue. There was a tiny lip of flash where the blowers or there's I think there's like hot air that gets pushed onto the windscreen, and you see that in the kit. That had a very small amount of lip, and all it took was a little wipe of the back of a stand or the back of a craft knife, and it had gone. So I was okay. So I'm just going to read that because that's an interesting point. My kit was okay, but I do wish they would use the grey plastic instead of the green. I want to place comment on that I've had it verified that the plastic is exactly the same no matter the colour. Now, I can say I kind of disagree. There's something about it, but it could be psychological that you see green and you think, oh, it's a little bit harder than the grey, or vice versa.
Right.
But all they've done is just, and they always use green for the armor stuff, is what I've been told. So I don't think I don't think it's to do with color, but I do. And another thing that was picked up is that if the tooling, they go it by tonnage. So if you've got a tool that's a very big tool, you need a very big machine, and it could be that they've used. I'm just saying this out there. I'm throwing these things out there, that they've used a machine that isn't quite capable of pressing plastic or the tonnage for that tooling. So these are just things that I'm just throwing out there, basically. Of why it happened. But ultimately, we have to go back to India, where it's made, and the quality control issues from that factory.
Can I just say that my kit stunk?
Yeah, but mine didn't.
Exactly.
Did you get some free poppadoms in it or something?
I could smell curry, which I've never done on an Airfix kit.
I don't. Well, yeah, I think the smell is a different reason, but I'll go into that later. Go on, Alex. You're going to say something about QC.
So, not necessarily about well, yeah. I mean, there's 2 elements to this. I think that people are picking up on, having a go at Airfix, whatever you want to say. One is the kit design elements. So by that, I'm thinking of the transparent plastic for the grills, the molded on windscreen wipers, on the clear parts. Those design choices.
Yeah.
And then the other part is the sink marks and ejector pin marks. And to a large extent, so I read before, as part of my research, yes, I do research for coming onto Airfix and Chill. I read the Gary Redford's review of this kit from the 10th of March 2025. And everything that people are bringing up now is present in that review then. So this is nothing new. So all of those design elements were picked up then. There was a little bit of sync, more problematic on his actually with the ejector pin marks, which are, there are a couple which are visible in the finish kit, which you really need to fill if you want that, pristine look. But this is, it's nothing that wasn't already known. So the design kit, the design elements are one part that you can have a view on of whether you agree with Airfix's choices or not, and whether they should have done things different. I think that's a valid discussion to have.
Yeah.
And then the other one is completely separate, and that is how India are producing these, which is the sync that is everybody taking. There is a certain amount, and as you say, if Nigel was on, he could tell us about that. How you design the mold affects how you then treat it for injection molding to prevent things like sync. So if you've got great big chunks, if you remember the old Airfix kits, which had huge hubs in the middle with great big runners and things coming off, you get sink marks in the runners because you got physically just a huge volume of plastic. And they didn't particularly put big bits of metal around those because they don't matter, right? It doesn't matter if you get sink in a runner. If you've not got enough metal around a part for it to extract the heat from the plastic quickly, and you don't allow enough time on the injection molding cycle for that to cool down, then it can cool in the air and you don't get that pressure of plastic to backfill as it dries, and that's where you can get sink. So there's a design element, but you can design a good mold, and then if it's impressed improperly, you get sink. And because we're seeing variable sink on some kits, so I think Jason's at Model Kit stuff was pretty bad. Yours didn't look that bad though, Moss. There's, it seems to be that's a QC issue, which we all know Airfix need to get a tighter handle on, because if they were all good, people would only be talking about, I wish it had transparencies that I could put a photo etch, which would be my problem. And, should they have molded that back grill in plastic? It's I mean, those are fairly minor points, and you could have a view either way. But because of the QC thing, I think it's made it bigger. Because those design elements were all present in that review from March, and a lot of people viewed that. I remember looking at it back then. I didn't read it in depth, but I was just excited that there was a Saracen and that it looked good at the end. So that was good enough for me. Whereas the QC issues just put a focus on it that makes everybody, it magnifies the existing design issue pieces, if you like. So, I do
wonder if they did mold that in grey, it wouldn't have picked up as many sink marks as it was in green, because green is a darker colour.
And funnily enough, that I think when they do the test shots, because that review, the plastic was grey, and I do agree. I wish company, and it's not just Airfix. So Italieri did their Semaventi in green. It just looks horrible. It's more difficult for your eyes, especially eyes of a certain age. Grey is just a nice neutral tone. You can pick stuff out on it. It's nice to work with. Green is just
a nasty habit of doing kits in green as well.
So black as well. Black is not a good choice of plastic color. Grey or stand color. Those are nice colors to work with.
Phil's just written here, I worked on QC on wire insulating with plastic extrusion. Every color has a different pigment material, and this adversely affected the final finish and machine settings. Has anybody that said, let's put it out there, because all the comments I've seen so far about this kit is mostly about where the injection pin marks are, that the radio is upside down, the small one, is it the VCB 335 or something like that? It's upside down. It should be the other way. Things that can be easily rectified just by slipping off the bit. people, you know, and there's been short shot, you know, but actual design of tooling and actual sink marks, people have just said, yeah, there's a few sink marks there, but nothing that would be on any other kit. And I've seen that a lot said, you know, and people are buying this kit and are now building it. And I, for one, have nearly finished mine. And do you know what? I was chewing the fat with Luke from Black Rifle today about it. And I said, I've got to the end of this kit now, and I'm feeling really sad because it's nearly done. You know, and he turned around and said, well, that means that's been a good kit. You thoroughly enjoyed building it and done the work on it, that when you get to that point of when you get to the end and you're feeling a bit sad about it, it's like you've come to the end of the journey. So, and I've had no issue with the fit. I really haven't. There's no issue with the fit. And the toolbox or the battery box, I've been told, there's a little bit of movement. I glued it back towards the bulkhead. So when I went to put the bulkhead on, I couldn't. So I had to unglue that and then move it forwards and then put the bulkhead in and then slot the battery box back in. And I used the larger radio, and I don't think I had sat it properly in the groove, because when I went to put the side of the cabin on, it wouldn't go flush because it was banging up against the edge of that radio. So what I did, obviously, I unglued it with a bit of poly cement, took it off, put the cab together, then went in, and so before I put the roof back on, I nipped off the locating lug and then just sat it back in on the edge of the thing. That's the only two things. There's two injection pin marks at the front of the cab, which are really close to the join of where it butts up to the bottom of the body. I had to, sand that a little bit because the locator is a bugger to get the sprue gate off. And that was it, really. Other than that, it went together like a dream. No problems whatsoever. Really, really nice. And I think that's the proof of the pudding for me, that I got to the end of this kit and I'm feeling a bit sad. I've still got a few little bits to do to it. I'll show you my build so far if you like. I've got it here on a PDF. So let's just hide the current. So I started off by building up the cabin, and as you can see, I put the two seats in, the radio. There is an injector pin mark on the right hand side of the dash, and I didn't fill these in, by the way. I left them alone. And
great, man.
Yeah, and that front where you've got like whether it's filters or something on the front there, that covered half of it, and then when you put the battery box on, it covered the other half of the ejector pin, and the radio covered the other side. You can just see a little bit of the ejector pin there, but because of where the cabbage, you won't be able to see that unless you look down through the hatch, I guess. But I just left I didn't even bother because I thought they'd be covered over. So it all went together nice there. And then there's the front of it. I weathered it up. I made it look really dirty inside, because the seats are going to be dirty because obviously you go in from the top hatches, don't you? So the boots end up on the seat. Unless you wipe it down, you're going to get a wet ass, aren't you?
Well, Not being funny, Moss, the seats are folded down when you get in.
Okay. Well, I read somewhere that you'll get a wet ass if somebody who left the Stalwart didn't fold the seat down. So, so that's that. I didn't realize center the steering wheel was in a Stalwart. You don't realize, do you? You see it driving around, you don't realize it's in the middle. As I said, the front went together fine, all together there, and there's a little bit of a gap at the front there, which I kind of left thinking I'll just fill that with dirt. I couldn't be bothered. I used no filler, and I have used no primer on this kit. I've just sprayed it with Outlaw paints, by the way. Okay. So there's the back. I haven't done the plastic yet because I'm doing that last. But basically, I put it together. Went underneath the suspension and all the work done for the axles there. All fine. Went together without any hitch. There's a close-up of that. You see I've drilled out the hose there for the handle or the step, and then I started weathering. Now, just to let you know, this isn't I didn't use a rust undercoat and then chipped it away using chipping fluid or nothing. All I've used on here it's Humbrol weathering powders, because I wanted to build it using Humbrol weathering powders, and they get a 9 out of 10 for me. They only get a 9 because if you get it, it gets everywhere, this weathering powder, and it's a bitch to get off your mat. So make sure you put stuff down before you start using it. So basically, I just started weathering it up, making it all dirty and looking rusty. A little bit of yellow sand in there as well, just to give it some highlights. So you can see there's it, basically all built together. Then this is the final shots now of how far I've got with it. Wheels are on, all dirtied up. I've weathered the side panels and everything, lined up. They're not quite lined up on the hinges. Can you see that? So are they supposed to be in the middle, or will they be off to the left slightly? I don't know. I'm just asking because I don't know. But it's yeah, Graham, I know it's messy, but these weathering powders get absolutely everywhere. Next time I'll put paper down before I start doing it. But yeah, this is basically how far I've got with it. Yeah.
I love the tones on that, man. It looks great.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think dark earth, sand yellow, dark rust and light rust I've used on this as well. So there's the powders. I was always using water, but a friend of mine told me to use Decalfix. So if you're going to mix it with any liquid, put a couple of drops of Decalfix in it, because what that will do is it will set, and then water will reactivate it. That's how it works. PVA. Yeah.
It's PVA.
So, yeah. So that's basically it, and that's the last one there at the front with the cab, and it looks all dirty. So yeah, it's I'm chuffed a bit so far with it. It's really, really good kit. So that's my build so far, and I've loved every bit of it. I really have.
You need to now you need to put it on the dyno.
Yeah.
And it needs to have bushes and trees growing through it.
Yeah. So I need some chickens from Alex as well. I said that to Sully. I need some so
I'll get some printed up for you, man.
Yeah.
Right. You got those for Sully. Yeah.
Yeah. I went. Yeah. Well, he inspired me, really. Well, he's an inspiring man, isn't he, Sully? And the two, rush jobs he's done have been absolutely epic, and I've just followed suit on that.
I've just seen Dutch Dave's question about how the sides come down. It's just like, it's very amusing to think that we would have had a mechanical way of putting the sides down on a Stalwart in the 60s. No, you just dropped them.
Yeah.
You would latch them in, and gravity did all the work.
Yeah, basically, saying that, you would always stand to the side because you just unhook them. Actually, somebody will probably be inside, and you unclip them at the top, and then somebody would put a boot to it, and then you walk away, you just let it fall down and bang against the wheel, So they wouldn't have flat tires, Stalwarts, because they're amphibious. They would be pumped up to the max to help with floating. That's what I've been told. So that's why there's no flat spots on these tires and no bubbles. They were pumped up to the max to help with buoyancy. That was in a comment, because somebody mentioned it in a comment, and somebody who worked on them said that they wouldn't have been flat. They would have pumped up to the hilt to help with buoyancy.
Well, I heard an interesting story about that one of the, I think it's Tanks a lot, the guy, he'd gone out and there was a Stalwart in distress because he had a flat tire.
Yeah.
I said, I'll do it, and because it's a split rim, popped it off.
Yeah.
And there was the inflation kit inside the wheel.
Yeah. Okay. If anyone is building this Stalwart now, can you leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are of your kit? Did you experience short shot? Because as I said, I just think it was, I kind of agree with Jim Brook about this, because this is why I try and call mine unboxings. They're not actual reviews per se. When I do an unboxing, I will show you what I see, but I put it up to the camera so it's nice and tight, nice and big, And it's up to you then to decide whether you buy that kit or not from what you see inside the box. That's how I do my unboxings. I tell you if I like it. I point out things that I see on my kit. For instance, I made a comment in my video about the top where the grill is. I thought there was flash. And the reason I thought it was flash was that when you look at the instructions, there's nothing on the instructions that show you that grill or that panel with that box underneath. But it should have been there. But it's so softly molded. It looks like it is flash, but it should have been there apparently. So I made a big social media push on that and put out there that I was wrong. It's supposed to look like that, but I still feel
the Chrome version that's coming. Spoilers.
But that should have been molded with separate parts, I think, on top, and that will give you the opportunity then of putting aftermarket there. If you want to put photo etch there instead, you could do. So
yeah, I think if you want to get into design element, let's say critique, the kit's £40, which I think is the right price. For that, it would have been nice if they had supplied extra transparencies without the molded windscreen wipers. And other than that, I don't really see a huge amount. Maybe a tiny photo etch fret in addition to the parts, because again, you don't want to go down the way of forcing people to have photo etch, but just for the rear cover, just for the grill bit to give you that option if you wanted to make it, that bit better. I think the argument that Airfix put out, I think, is bull, basically, about, it would raise the age. Nobody of 8 is making this kit. It's 14. I mean, 14 is ambitious, I would say, for most of the stollies out there. So I think, a photo etch fret of, like 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter is not going to, that's minimum cost point. It's not going to add to that. If you look at what you get from other companies around this price point of similar vehicles, which again, I did a bit of research. You can get the AFV Club Scorpion, it's £35. Gecko Scimitar is £41. AFV Club Scimitar is £35. Obviously, the Tamiya Chieftain's £20 because it's quite old. Dragon Saladin is £42. Tacom FV 432 is you can get for $36.99. That has a full interior as well. So, when you start to compare it to other things, I think having those extra little elements, which is only like 3 transparencies and 1 photo etch, I think could be a valid discussion point. I don't think it makes the current kit terrible, but that would have been really nice. If they had those as well, I don't think you could have too many problems. The one piece I really don't like in the kit, which I really wish they'd designed differently, are the 2 ends of the canvas cover. I think they look shit.
But they are wrong as well, aren't they? They're wrong as well.
Yeah, that's the only bit that I looked at and thought I would have to do something about that. And I think that would be that's my only disappointment, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the other bits are debatable, but I don't think any of them are deal breakers.
I would. I'll put in my 10 pence worth about photo etch in a minute. But the edges, one side had the brass ringlets around the hole, and one side didn't. So they missed out that on the tooling.
Yeah,
which is a real shame. The radial's upside down. As I said, I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, apparently somebody said that it's upside down. If you look at the pictures, the dial's on the right when it should be on the left. But if you're going to get up that close to it and personal, then but other than that, like you said, I'm not having the canvas on mine. I thought, because I at first thought I was thinking, I'm rusting this all up. Do I need to rust the inside? And I thought, no, I don't, because I'm going to put the canopy on. And I thought to myself, nah, bollocks to it. I won't bother using it. But then as I was in that process of doing it, I was thinking of how can I make it more more used, and how would I weather it? And I noticed a lot had patches like diamond patches where they've sewn a diamond patch, and I thought that would look good with a bit of, you know.
Yeah.
Going back to photo etch, Tamiya don't put photo etch in their kits, do they?
No.
No.
I don't
Yeah,
think
they do.
Yes, they do.
which
A lot of the,
They have done
so a lot of the new stuff that they've been doing the last couple of years, they've redone. And I only know this because I had a guy who ordered a whole bunch of stuff and I had to get it. So like the SDKFZ 232, I think it is. The little hands as well.
Yeah.
They've upgraded those. They now have metal turned aluminium gun barrels and photo etch for the grill covers. So they have started adding those bits in. They never used to, but they've gone back and redone those pieces. So a lot of the tummy kits now do have, and again, it is only just a little tiny photo etch fret of just those pieces. They don't go like, you know, Tacom or Ryfield or, you know,
They
these
did do
big
some. They did do some special edition Panzers, didn't they, with PE? But they were only limited edition. I think they were, you know, they were specials.
But they've gone back. A lot of those other ones are standard now.
My argument
but they do
was,
specifically say.
my argument is that these companies that use PE a lot do their PE in house.
Yeah.
That's why you had those, you know, that's why a little bit of PE came with the KT ambulance, because it was in house. An academy have a section that do PE, and that will cut the price tremendously for the model companies.
Yeah.
And I think it's more about the price than anything. I think the exclusive being 14, etc., you know, does hold value, but then again, they can't sell a Coca-Cola quick build Volkswagen camper van because it's advertising Coca-Cola and you can only advertise to the over 18s.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that argument's perfectly valid if you're looking at a starter kit or a 172nd kit, you know, something that somebody under 14 might actually build. But a Stalwart,
but you're also paying 40 quid. Whereas a Tamiya kit with that photo etch, you know, it will boost the price up a fair amount. It's what I'd like to say is I think Airfix is are producing mainstream models at a mainstream price, and that's their market.
Yeah.
And if they have to use clear parts to do an exhaust bit at the back, so be it. You know, there are ways around it. If you,
I would say their price is becoming not mainstream. It's drifting to the top end of that for sure.
I've always found, Alex, that when Airfix raise their prices, everybody else raises prices with them.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. And I've spoken
that
to
in the shop. And I have 40, 50 odd manufacturers. No, more than that.
I've spoken to one importer in the last 2 months and one massive model shop who have both said to me that when Airfix raise their prices in this country, everyone else follows suit. They wait for Airfix to put their price up and then they follow suit with their prices.
Yeah.
I've not seen it from a single one of my suppliers.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Well, I'm only telling you what I've heard from the suppliers and from a model shop big model shop that
because I can tell you because I actually got a bunch of stuff in from the hobby company. They did to me and other stuff, and I restocked some stuff that I hadn't had. It had been out of stock basically because you have to wait until there's containers from. You know, if Tamiya don't ship something for 6 months or 12 months, you don't get it. And I had it and I restocked it and I checked that it was still I checked. Sorry, Maria's just offering me food. I checked that. See John Alec being jealous.
Always.
But I checked that the cost price hadn't changed because obviously it had been like 18 months since I ordered it. It was exactly the same.
Fair enough. Walking down, pricing is on the cusp of no longer being better value for money than other brands. Yeah.
I mean, value for money is a different thing.
Yeah, to you, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a hard one to judge.
Simon's modelling shed. Comment. The Gecko KT ambulance is far better than the Airfix one. Interesting. Okay. It's a tougher build. And I know the pricing was very similar to Airfix's pricing, but that was because they licensed the actual name, and them others didn't.
Right.
So
the irony is they licensed the name for the Chinese company that own Austin.
Yeah.
SAIC.
I think the difference is, and what Moss actually touched on there, is that Airfix, for me, design kits that anybody can build. I think that's the design intent, right? So if a 14-year-old wanted to build that Stalwart, they could.
Yeah.
Same with the KT ambulance, right?
Yeah.
If that same 14-year-old tried to build the Gecko one, they might not have such an easy time.
Right.
So I think they are aimed at slightly different markets. I think a lot of the Chinese manufacturers are aiming at scale modelers, inverted commas, rather than, as Moss said, a more general market of, like that Airfix ferret. Anybody could build that ferret. It's a fantastic build. It's a mojo build, as you said.
Yeah. The Stalwart's going to be a mojo build. For somebody who wants to get back in armor, they'll build that and they'll come away thinking, right, on to my next model.
And there's a ton of stuff you can do with it, like you said, Mark, in terms of weathering, in terms of, it's with some aftermarket or some scratch building, like you say, putting a little patch on the, tears in the canvas and stuff. I bet there's going to be some fantastic builds of it at Telford.
Yeah. Nigel's popped in. He's made a few comments. I agree. There should be photo etch. If it added a $5 to the price, so be it. Eddard will make a set for it and it'll be at least 20 quid.
Yeah.
But it's not done in house.
The PE set for the ferret cost as much as the kit.
Yeah.
Work that one out.
Well, it depends on how, it depends. If Airfix did it in house and made it in house, I think they could put it in. See, the other thing is a lot of these companies produce their own kits. Academy's got their own factory. Trumpeter's got their own factory.
So what about using 3D? What about the Airfix using 3D printing to enhance their kits?
But who's going to do it though? Because they'll have to get an outside firm, and again, that is expensive.
It's going to throw the cost through the roof.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm kind of wish they had done is get Academy, like they did with the Katie, have Academy actually impress these rather than India. Yeah. And then they could have had a little photo etch thing there, and quality would have been, the QC aspect would go away.
Yeah. I think the India is the issue completely, and I'm at the point now. Now I've been, the comments I've received, and I noticed that the people who are making negative comments about my review or my unboxing were those who are on the channels that have done reviews and spotted the mistakes. So I've had a lot of Rose Tinter, Airfix fanboy. You don't know what you're talking about. You're protecting Airfix, blah blah blah. So be it. If you think I'm an Airfix fanboy, good luck to you. But secondly, it's not Airfix. And I come to the point now, and I see when things go wrong, I am basically saying listen, India, if you don't want Airfix's business, fuck off. Give the tools to somebody else that wants to do it properly. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I kind of feel. And like I said, I bet Airfix, because they saw this, they're looking into why this had happened. You look on go on.
As I said in my review, Moz, I had a feeling that they were rushing the kits through so they could get another moulding for doing a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
That was my feeling.
Yeah, because you never see short on a fucking Nerf gun, do you?
No.
And I was told that 70% of all the Nerf guns in the world are made at that factory.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what I was told. They do a huge chunk of Nerf guns. I know it's plastic and everything. I get that, but
I also think it's easy to put the blame on India's door when ultimately they will have been given a contract for a price by Hornby. So I think Hornby have to. I think my main problem with Airfix in totality is Hornby, actually, rather than anything else, with effectively cost-cutting measures. Which has crept into the Hornby rail side, because they used to impress elsewhere. Now they do it in India. The same things are being said in the rail model community as are being said here. And if you're only paying a certain amount, if you say, okay, it's going to be however many tens of thousands for this many, 8,000, 10,000 kits or whatever, they will work to that schedule. And it's like they're going to get it done as quickly as possible with, the minimum care and attention, because care and attention costs money.
I'm not convinced it's about money, though, Alex. I think it's more of a case of...
I think it's 100% about money. Having seen the other things that Hornby are doing at the moment, the consolidation of the warehouse, the stuff they're doing in the other brands, with the
consolidation of the warehouse needed to be done, because they had things here, there, and everywhere, and now they've got a Pacific supply warehouse distribution network now that should get the kids out within a
shipping company.
I think commercial organisations generally have two reasons for doing things. One is to generate or increase profit, and the other is to cut or remove cost.
But I think the warehouse thing is a red herring, because they've been trying to improve their distribution and they couldn't get it from one company. They went and looking for another company, got a brilliant, a good
and if
system.
it had improved, I'd agree, Moss.
And it has improved.
I got my Stalwarts today.
Pardon?
I got my Stalwarts today.
But
that's not an improvement from how they were before.
But that depends on the pre-ordering, surely. Did you pre-order on the day? Did you for so many, or were you after everybody else that pre-ordered who were retail?
I pre-ordered with the same with everybody else.
Okay. I've just well, as I said, going from a customer point of view, getting it. What I did, I got the email on the day of the Stalwart saying it's been released, and I got it 9 o'clock the next morning. So
because Hornby want a DTC model, which is about reducing costs and increasing profit, as Sinzan said.
But
Airfix has no part in that equation.
Interesting. But as I said, I thought that it should improve now on the distribution on it all. But as I said,
I can assure you it hasn't, and it's not just me.
Okay. But that's because your business, though, yeah? Okay.
I had the hobby company rep in on Friday. And of course, rep lots of people. He's hearing it everywhere. So.
Yeah, which rep came in?
Hobby company.
Are they coming to see you, did they?
They do Tamiya Italieri ICM distribution.
Fair enough. Airfix is on the box. Airfix is responsible for what's in the box. Name who you want, but when you put your company name on a product, you're 100% responsible for that product.
It's not a company. So ethically, Airfix is a brand. Hornby is the company. I agree with the principle, but you're directing it to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Can I just make a point about this contract that Airfix have with India? If Airfix have a contract with India to produce, say, 100,000 units of one kit, and everything they produce is shite, surely that's breach of contract.
Correct.
So what the hell is going on? I mean, I've looked at 3 or 4 different reviews on this Stalwart today just to catch up before I came on here today, and it's not even the same problems that everyone's having.
Yeah.
It's different issues. I mean, you had an issue with that grate on the roof of the cab, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was wrong. That's supposed to be there.
No, he didn't know about it being correct.
That was why I put out lots of social media.
I understand that. I understand that. But
yeah,
I looked at Peter Oxley's review on that kit today, and he had exactly the same issue you had.
What, with the thing on the top?
Yeah, nobody else had that issue.
It's supposed to be on the top, mate.
Yeah,
but it looked like flash filled up on the gun.
No,
everyone was saying they think it should have been molded in a different part.
Yeah, it should have been.
And I'm inclined to agree with it.
Yeah, it should be, but that's supposed to be there. I thought it was flash, but no, it's an actual electric.
James's review, the kit was full of sinkholes all over the shop, wasn't there?
Mm.
Well, I said this.
That's QC.
There's definitely things there. But it's very difficult to tell with it being green.
Yeah, I understand.
The green shows all the casting marks coming into the plastic, and it's on a big frame. And big sprues on it. So if you take those parts off the sprue,
I'm not talking about shrinkage. I'm talking about the sinkholes you had in your kit, because shrinkage is something you can't always avoid. Because the kit comprises of parts that have different thicknesses. Nigel's absolutely correct. As the plastic cools down, it shrinks at different rates.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But also, if you leave it in the tooling, that extra 10 seconds, it stop
reduces. Yeah, it reduces a lot of it, but you can't get rid of it all.
Yeah. Alex Smith, why we were talking about the same Airfix Hornby issues? Because they keep coming up and up and up and up, and with the tooling that's happened. But I don't think it's as bad as people are making out. I've had lots of comments on my build, and I've seen it on a couple of forums that when with the sink marks are a bit of a meh. Somebody's making out, this is and I do see that kind of mentality. And I agree, you shouldn't be getting massive sink marks in it. And if you do have sink marks, you can get those parts replaced. Send a picture, Airfix will replace them. But it happens to everyone.
Or you can rework them.
But I just felt that it's been this whole idea of, look at the sink, look at the sink, look at the sink, is actually marred what is a bloody good kit.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. It is a lovely looking kit, and I think it will build up really nice. I mean, yours looks terrific.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the issues that are with the kit, I think, can be reworked.
Yeah. I mean, none of it is unfixable.
No.
I mean, I think, okay, if I could take the flip side of, I think, as I've said, I think there are valid things you can talk about, and whether they are right or wrong, I think is one of those things. You can get, a normal distribution of those things. But take I think one of the most ridiculous ones is the clear plastic part for the grill, right? Yeah. Airfix have come up with a fairly innovative idea of, okay, if we mold this in clear plastic, we get, as crisp as we can make it. You just paint over the top, you can see through the other bit. It's all plastic. You don't have any issues with drilling them out and stuff.
No.
That's pretty neat, right? And it's just like to say, it's like, this is the end of the world. It's like, well, just drill the damn things out then, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Or buy a piece of grill or aftermarket. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. Yes, I would have loved it if they'd put a photo etch piece in there as well as preference. But it's not the end of the world. That would have been the icing on the cake. Yeah. It's not like, my cake is incomplete or ruined. I think that's just such a silly thing.
It's not that different than having an exhaust pipe that hasn't got a hole in the end.
You're right. You just drill it out a little bit.
Well, loads of people drill them out, don't they? It's all
most other manufacturers would have just molded it in the green plastic of the main kit, and nobody would have batted an eyelid.
See, that was the thing. It's very hard to put a hole at the end of an exhaust. A lot of manufacturers, what they will do is mold that in two parts. So you get the hole, but then you're left with a seam line. Then you're left with a line.
Seam line's got to deal with it. So it's a different type of rework, isn't it?
Yeah, you just end up with don't get me wrong. When you've got a piece that's like 3 mil, and trying to center that and drill it is a bugger, isn't it? It really is a swine, you know. So I get that. Dougie, following the recent poor reviews of the Stalwart, I think Airfix have made a lot of potential new armor customers think twice about future releases. I promise you, you look across the forums, this is the trouble, you know. Somebody ranted and raved about an issue with sink marks on their kit. Most of the issues I'm seeing on this particular kit, I've seen 2 people post they've had short shot. That's it. 2 people. I've seen people say that there are sink marks, but nothing out of the ordinary. But we have 2 videos or videos online that have claimed that their kit was full of sink, and is one of them they were unlucky. But I'm guaranteed sure if they said to Airfix, I'm not happy with this, I'm sending it back, send a replacement, Airfix will send you one track 24 hours next day.
Yeah.
They will. They know that things happen. I think we're missing the whole premise here. If this was another manufacturer, I think they'll be more forgiving. But because it's Airfix, it's like jump on that bandwagon, Sonny Jim, we're going to piss on the fire. And that's what I think it is. Am I not right?
I do think that Airfix get a lot of stick from the community unwarrantedly.
Yeah.
I think there is
not being funny.
Especially, and I know Alex just looked up at the sky there because he has issues with Airfix, but I'm saying that they get a lot of stick for QC, not really because of retail issues, because people don't really understand the retail issues unless you're involved.
Those of you who have done neurolinguistic programming see that I looked up. It's me searching internally. Internal reflection. But
I understand that there's issues ongoing between you and Hornby Productions.
But I don't think. No. This is. So all of those are completely separate.
They're separate.
I don't want to bring up. I don't want to derail the conversation about that.
But I just wanted to make the point that I think it's a QC issue that people are jumping on the bandwagon, and I don't think Airfix are as bad at QC as some other companies are. I mean, Christ, have you ever built a Vallum kit?
Yeah.
Try it.
I think there's 2 bits. The reason I looked up and thought, is like, I think we see it more because this is the home market.
Yeah, right? True. Yeah.
So we see it a lot because it's a British brand belonging to a British company, which is owned by an asset management company, which is another thing. And we're seeing a lot of British reviews on it, and there is a very much. I think Airfix has become almost a Marmite brand, which, of course, if you are British, you will understand. If you're outside of Britain, it means it's digital, right? You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
There's not much middle ground.
Like Bavro.
And it sort of elicits that reaction, just like if Airfix gets something wrong, they're the worst company ever. If they get something right, they're brilliant and we're back to the 1950s of British innovation. And neither, of course, is true. It's somewhere in between. And Airfix have been doing a lot of good stuff. They also don't help themselves. So you mentioned the radio being the upside down, Moss. Personally, I don't give a shit about that. Sorry, I don't give a damn.
I know. Yeah.
But
somebody did give a shit. That's why they posted about it on a forum.
But you've got you got that, and you got the other bit that you mentioned. I can't even remember what it was. But it's just like that will matter to the hardcore people. Not to 99% of the people that are building it. But I think more importantly, the point to be made about that is, like the Black Buck Vulcan, not a real issue, but it shows a lack of not care and attention to Airfix, but almost like a feeling of something being rushed, of like some pressure being put on to some deadline. Oh, the brass ring marks in the other side of the thing. It's just like, because otherwise, it's not crossed and double checked. It's like almost like it's just checked once because they're hitting a deadline or something. There's a valid point there, right, about the internal, not Indian QC, but like the internal part of, are there enough checks and balances there? You know, how do Airfix improve? That's an improvement point for them internally, right? How can they eradicate that? You know, and every company has them. Every company has some stuff that slips through. Airfix's incidence is higher than most. And that's, if they were doing business consulting with me, that's what I'd be saying. It's just like, you need to look at that point because that's what you get picked up on, you know, and that is reputation. And reputations are hard won and easily lost. And I think that's what you see with Airfix. It gives that Marmite reaction because of everybody remembers, you know, models of a certain age was included, remember the 90s, you know, and that sort of the dark years, call it that. And we don't really want to go back there. And a lot of people see these things and say, oh, it's just like that, you know, which is not true. So, yeah, it is. We are in a little bit of a unique position. I don't think you get quite this reaction in Germany, you know, about an Airfix release.
Right.
Yeah.
But you probably do about a Revell release. You know?
Jim Wilson's just put, it's just a pile on over sync marks. It seems like more people are more interested in knocking Airfix than being objective. Say no more. Question. Mods, that Stalwart you're building looks great. It's been an absolute joy to build. I've done it in 4 days, by the way. 4 days. So, and that's jumping out, going to work, coming home, a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. So I reckon I've spent 9 hours on it, really. And that's in between drying times of the paint, but then outdoor paint dries quickly anyway. So I'm not quite getting this point, Alex. If you're talking about tools and QC, if I was having a stonework top cut and the edges were bad and the stonemason said it's because the stone cutting tool needed renewing, would we pay? Well,
yeah, that's the point I'm making.
I think he's saying, you know, it's up to you want the proper product in your hands, you know.
Well, you're talking about Airfix in India we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So if Airfix have paid for 10,000 kits to be made and they get 4,000 returns, I would be looking as India. A company to go back and say, thank you for my 40% rebate on
fair play. Yeah, I get that. That's why I'm pointing in, Nigel started building his today. No, but it's on my watch list later on. So when I'm there getting ready.
Yes, I watched it before this stream, Nigel.
I haven't seen it.
No, I
started to watch it.
Yeah. Question, comment. Since I returned to the hobby, I've built a fair number of Airfix kits. None, in my honest opinion, have had serious quality control issues. Most problems were easily fixed, and other kits would I consider poor. And that was my challenge 5 years ago when I first started this YouTube channel. I was doing reviews. I was basically doing vintage classic kits, and I knew there was a lot of flash on them, and the fit wasn't great. But it was about the nostalgia of being able the opportunity of building a kit that I had done 30 years previous, with fresh decals, with a fresh look, with all the skills I had, and also the way that some of the tooling. I was doing reviews on Airfix kits and building them, and I was loving them, absolutely loving them. And the premise is that I was trying to put out there that Airfix had changed. You know, this isn't 1990s. This is 2010 onward, 2020. Sorry, not 2020s. And I put out a call and I said, anyone here who has not built a kit in the last 5 years, contact me and I'll send you an Airfix model kit that's been produced and manufactured in the last 5 years. Then tell me if they're still shit. And I think I only had 2 people out. I'm sure it was about 80 or 90 kits or something ridiculous like that. Over the 2 years I did that challenge, I only had 2 people, and the majority said, you are right, Moz. Actually, I enjoyed the Mosquito. I enjoyed the Tempest, and those kits, so yeah, it was good. Airfix will always have haters. Yeah, but so Tamiya have haters. People rile on Tamiya because they're too easy to build. You know what I mean? It's like,
skill involved.
Simplistic is the one I tend to hear.
Yeah, I hate Mini Art because fuck them, like it's too many parts. Like, it's like But that's the thing, you know. I was talking as I was chewing the fat with Luke today. I reckon 75% of scale modelers just want to get the build done, and then spend their time painting, weathering it, adding the bits and pieces, the seat belt, and finish it off, and maybe then build a little diorama or a little vignette to make it look good. It's not about the build, it's about the finishing. And I think that when you get a kit that gets too complex and you're having to do this and do that and the other, it's a longer time of build before you get on to getting the paintwork down, you know, getting some oil on it, if you know what I mean. And I think about 75% of us who build model kits like Airfix because of the quickness of build, and they're not that complex. Is that not a fair comment?
Well, there are people that just like to build and don't really like to paint, but I think the point still stands, and I think you're absolutely. I think the central point, Moss, that you nailed earlier was it's about the experience.
Yeah,
this is a hobby. You really enjoyed this kit because I'm reversed on camera. You really enjoyed that build, right?
Yeah.
I finished the ICM Dornier 217K. Like the glass nosed one. I had the same experience with that. I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah.
John Alec, if you saw his Buffalo build today, did not enjoy that AF. You cracked me up, John, when you said that this is going to be a shorter view because basically this kit was a ball ache. It's just like
that's such a British term. That's a real British term.
Yeah, that's a real British term, that, John.
Yeah.
But it's like if you have that really like engaging experience, that's what it's about, right? If you don't, you know, John Alec was saying he didn't video a lot of it because he just wasn't enthusiastic about it. And it took him a long time because he didn't want to go back to it. Whereas the Mastiff that he's building is the opposite. So it's all about that. It doesn't really matter what the manufacturer is. It's, do you enjoy it? Is this a really, good experience for you? And I must say, the Airfix kits in the main that I've built over the past 2.5, 3 years have been good experiences.
Yeah.
The Belvedere accepted.
Yeah, that Belvedere. I think they would have. I think they should have been just that Belvedere, right? Put it together. It's that glass at the front, isn't it?
Yeah.
What they should have done, like the Bond bug, was pretend that they've lost the tooling and re-engineer the front, and that kit would have been so much better if they had engineered a new glass front for it.
It would have made it salvageable. Yeah.
The old tool HE111 is exactly the same.
Yeah. People expect the same QC as other big hobby companies. You're paying the same, so the quality should be the same. It's a difficult one. See, rose tinted on. I just want consistency from India. Because when the kit comes out and it's brilliant, it's awesome. But then you've got the guy down the road who's bought the kit 5 minutes after me, and their kit comes and it's shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the consistency. I've heard it said, I don't trust Indian quality control with Airfix as much, because you can't guarantee what you're going to get in the box. At least you're going to be robbed. That Captain Tom's daughter is going to rob you. Do you know what I mean? And that was the attitude that they had. And I said fair play, But as I said, touch wood, I've not really had any shot or missing parts. I've had lots of. Let's go back with. Yeah, that's the other point I was going to bring up. Actually,
the only kit you had a short shot on was that mini art Bantam that you built.
Yes. Oh, that mini art Bantam. Yeah. Very short shot underneath, wasn't it? All that. But luckily, I was able to put some card in it and cover it over. Never finished that, It's all right. A bit complex, but yeah. That was the only short shot I had was on mini art, wasn't it? And
I thought you had short shot on the
there was a whole batch of them because the bomb bug. Fucking hell, I forgot about the bomb. That's the other one, Concord and bomb bug.
Mm-hmm.
But then
but the bomb bug was consistent. Everybody had a short shot.
Everybody had that short shot. Yeah.
Oh,
That's what
there was a taxi. Remember how awful that taxi was?
Yeah.
The taxi.
That looked like a taxi that was in the London riots, didn't it?
Mm. Yeah. It's exactly the same as it's exactly the same as the bottom seam on the Eurofighter. There were so many moaning videos about it. I'm a modeler, not an assembler. The seam was fine once I had finished it. I do get that, but the problem I had was I glued it together, okay, taped it all up, left it overnight, and it had dropped 0.5 mil. It just dropped, or like it moved 0.5 mil, and I made sure it was perfect when I put the tape on it and everything. But it was like the cement got a little bit hot and just dropped. So everything was off. I've got it here somewhere, haven't I? Yeah,
I clamped mine to buggery to make that work. And the thing is, if that had been a standard kit, that's okay. Yeah, right? It's annoying. It's a quirk of the kit, but that's a starter kit. And for me, a starter kit for 20 quid that you have to clamp isn't really acceptable. So I think I get what you're saying, Jim, but yes, we're modelers, but if you pay a certain amount of money in 2025 and it's labeled as something, then you kind of expect similar to other things, right? And if it's an Airfix starter kit, when you had that F-35, which was basically flawless as a starter kit, you can't really compare it.
My point with that is that I still do not understand why they just didn't put 2 locating pins, one at the front. That's all it needed. That was it. Just 2 little pins, and that would have sufficed.
I see Nigel's just said exactly what I said in.
What was that? Sorry.
Nigel's just reaffirmed what Alex has just said.
Yeah, but much more succinctly.
Yeah.
That's Jim. That's the correct attitude to have. You don't want to build a kit, but a quick click kit or models will have their flaws to one or another. Exactly. Would you buy a table that was made from bad instructions? Airfix don't have bad instructions. Airfix instructions are the best in the business, mate. Don't they? You know, their instructions are sound.
Absolutely. The new ones? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I still bought mine after seeing the initial reviews. My kit, a few sink marks, but nothing to worry about. Exactly. With the Canadian dollar and the ridiculous time it takes Hornby to get the Stully over here, I'm not sure it'd be worth the almost 90 Canadian dollars it will cost.
Wow. Yeah.
That is the issue at the moment, but they are working on that. I'm doing my second Airfix starter set Land Rover, and the same parts broke off because of the lack of outer free spraying. Yeah, I know it. We've been down that route so many times. Going back to that, the packaging, I will say, I think everyone's P. Oxley, Jason for model kit stuff, Nigel, all said the same. They need to cut off that bag so it's tight.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it moves left and right in the bag, it's not left or right in the box. It's not moving left and right in the bag, and that's when parts.
Even if you just individually bagged the sprues that had,
they should bag them separately. All the sprues should be bagged separately.
Yeah,
and also they should be tight in a bag. They should be tight in a bag.
I mean, if Hobby Boss can do it, anyone can do it because their kits are cheap.
Are we model makers that fix things as we go, or are we just old maids whinging because it's an Airfix kit? Come on, adapt, modify. Airfix are now far better than they were in the early to mid 90s. I would say the mid 2000s. They're so much better than the mid 2000s. I think some of the later kits, like the TSR2, the Bone that they did, they're not fabulous by a stretch.
148 scale Buccaneer.
What's that?
The original 148 scale Buccaneer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, the original 109G retool Airfix did was 2006 too. That was mid-noughties.
Can't say I had any problems with the TSR2, to be honest with you. That went together absolutely fine.
Yeah,
you know, that wasn't an issue. I modified it somewhat, but it was, you know, it went together absolutely fine. That was very good. I could judge your Airfix on that and say that was fine. You know, for my own thinking, the quality control or the quality of what comes out of Airfix, it goes wrong. I made a 1/48th scale Mark 1A Spitfire a couple of years ago. I put it on the channel, and that had a molding difficulty with the two halves, in the sense that one was bent out like that, so you had to clamp it in. But that, I don't think that's an issue. You know, it bends out, it bends in again. It's pretty straightforward, really. You know, I had a good look at the Lysander and Spitfire. Sorry, I haven't got a Stalwart because it hasn't got wings on it. But there are no sink marks in them and no irregularities that I detect. And I subjected them to quite a close look earlier on today because I too prepare for Airfix and Chill. And I think it's a good idea. You know, from a quality perspective, you know, no real complaints here. It is something and nothing, really, as I've said before. You know, today's news will be tomorrow's fish and chip paper.
Tonka, I agree with what you said, but to be honest, I love building RFM full interior kits. The complexity I find relaxing. I tops off.
He's
to
like
you.
Luke, isn't he? Luke.
You know, I get that. As I said, I feel that is. It's what goes your boat. Mods. Some of us like building as much as the rest. Don't think it's 70%, but we have a choice,
Correct.
and that's what it is. I'm just.
Many are NICM.
Well, I put out the 70% as a guide figure that if I ask 10 people, I'm pretty sure that 7 of them will go, I prefer them. I want to get on and paint the thing. I don't want to faff around with this, that, and the other. Saying that some of us don't like the faff, some of us do. I just want to get on and paint it. I want to get it built, painted. Oh, by the way, this kit here is the first time I sprayed on the sprue when I built it. So what I mean is, it's like I built the body up and everything that I knew was going to be, but the cab, the sides, the wheels, everything was all sprayed up on the sprue.
That's an entirely different episode, an entire episode of Airfix and Chill you just mentioned.
There's a point.
Did you feel really naughty when you did it, Moss?
I did feel really naughty when I did it. But the reason why I did it was to see if it's true that it will speed up the build, and it does.
Yeah, it does.
Because once I've done it all, and I put sides on everything, glued it all up, and then any edges that I'd missed with the first, I just went with the airbrush, and it was done, and that was it. The cab was done. So I'm just saying there's bits that I've done, you know, on the actual spring this time.
That sounds like a live build-off challenge.
It is, yeah. Well, you build it, then spray it, and spray it, and I build it, yeah. And because outdoor paints dry so quick, it was straight on to the next part, whether this, whether that, boom, boom, boom. So, how would aircraft builders take it if the recent Airfix Jaguar was released like the Stalwart? That's inconsistency again, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a good point, actually, though, because I haven't heard any issues. I haven't.
None.
I mean, maybe it's just my naivety, but I haven't heard anybody or seen any reviews which talk about short shots or sink marks or anything in that Jaguar.
No, I haven't either.
Certainly weren't any in mine.
Well, it's the same as the case with the Mark 9, you know, the TR Mark 9 and the Lysander. Been no issues with that I've been aware of. And the Lysander particularly, you would think if there was going to be anything, it would be on the transparencies on that, because there are a lot of them.
Yeah, there are.
And they got them right.
So let's get through as many of these questions and what we've got. We've got quite a lot of people in the chat tonight, which is fantastic. Did one of the tank kits have one bolt less on the wheel than did they fix it? Yeah, the Cromwell had 7 instead of 8, didn't it? That was you really would go there. Didn't you have some damaged props on the Rotterdam Moz? I did. But it wasn't short shot. They were damaged inside the box. Contacted Airfix, and I actually used it to do a video on, didn't I? Contacted Airfix. 24 hours a day after I had those parts back on, I was able to finish my review of the kit.
I did used to start watching Moss's reviews of the vintage classics. He pulled out the Concord and he says, "I'm missing half the sprue here."
I love them as well. Challenging but really rewarding. I get that. I follow what Nigel did on his Eurofighter and had no issues at all. Agreed. But then if you read the review of that Eurofighter in Key Model World's FX Model World or FX Model Magazine, they put tabs at the bottom because it was missing locating pins, and it said it was more faff than it was worth. So you can. That's what you've got to look at the reviews under your own judgment. So, relatively easy to improve QC is to weigh the sprue when it's off and cool. Short shot will be less than 100%, and some parts are so light, but it can't be any worse. Short shot, the best way with short shot, and I saw this at Plastech when they did the Spitfire. Was they get a sprue that's completely perfect in every which way. It's proper Mary Poppins good, perfect. And they spray it green, let that dry, and then when they pull a sprue off, they put it on to that top of that sprue on a frame and look down.
Yes.
If you can see any green, you've got short shot. That's right. That's the best way. And I don't believe that they had much short shot. They didn't have any short shot on that Spitfire. I may but nobody that was ever reported. Nothing ever said on forums.
And that's the difference between UK production and Indian production, isn't it? I can almost guarantee those.
Nothing was shipped. Nothing was shipped.
Yeah, I can guarantee those sprues for the Indian machines are just going straight into the bag, well, into a big bin of the sprues.
I disagree. Alex, I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly here. It's somebody that spent 10 years flat pack assembling people's wardrobes. You can read it in my book. IKEA instructions are phenomenal. Second only to Chippendale stuff, okay?
I wasn't talking about the instructions.
You said, I think IKEA tables are made from old recycled bad instructions.
Nigel said that tables weren't made from bad instructions, responding to the prior one about tables were made from bad instructions.
Let's go down. ICM often does everything in one bag, but it's very tight inside the bag, no movement. Like I said, you've got to make a choice.
The same as mini art.
If you're going to get rid of something, you've got to replace it with something at least as good. So if you don't want to use plastic bags or you don't want to use so much plastic, then you've got to replace it with something. Paper doesn't cut it, Hella. No. Okay, just so you know that. Paper would work if you folded it, and done it a proper job, where if you use paper and you wrapped it tight, then put it in one plastic bag or something, that would probably. You've got to stop the movement. The boxes. Stop. Yeah, that's it.
Some Hella kits don't even have the tissue.
That's right. I've heard that. Yeah, I've got one here now. I feel the same. Some reviewers would complain about perfect pre-built kits because they have no issue to moan about. Some reviewers are there to get views and care about the hobby. I have always said my reviews, and I always in my unboxings, I ask every single time, what are your thoughts on this kit? Because the idea is that you make the judgment from seeing what I'm seeing. And that includes watching the video again if you need to. You shouldn't just rely on my particular kit.
We watch Nigel's reviews because he tends to do good ones.
Yeah, fair enough. Nigel, yeah. Moz, the question is, with all the issues, there are the Moz, the question is, with the issues there are with it, would you buy another one? I had no issues. I would buy another 5 if I had time to build another 5. But I'm being serious. I promise you, I'm going to actually. Here's a challenge, right? If you're struggling getting back into the hobby, you want a mojo build, Ferret Scout, or this Stalwart, I promise you at the end of it, you'll be like, oh, I want to build another. I want to build another. But that Stalwart has been phenomenal. Mini Art does the same. I get that. Bad instructions, even worse. Wasting your time because you've been putting a part of PE in the wrong place to find it does not look right. Yeah. You know. You can't say that about Airfixes. Yeah, the instructions from Airfix are pretty sound. Someone banned Moz spraying on the Sprue. Yeah, I know. But it's true, though. It does speed up the build. An analogy which I think is pertinent here. If you had ordered a new car in January and it was delivered to you last week with a dent in the wing, would you keep it, send it back, or repair it yourself? That is a good analogy. I'll give you that. But then when you're spending £30,000 on a new car and it comes with a dent, I'm pretty damn sure that when you go to the showroom and pick it up, you'll be like, I'm not having that. Got a dent in it. Would you not? The trouble with
there's only one circumstance under which I might repair that car myself, and that was if I built it myself.
Yeah.
Or if it was an MG.
Or TVR.
You wouldn't want to get back to MG for them.
TVR. But it is a good analogy, right? Because it is about the price point.
Yeah.
And, you know, which is why I thought it was amusing. We had this discussion before, Moss, about the Ferret Scout when people are complaining. It's like, it's 20 odd quid.
Yeah.
It's just like, really? You're complaining about this? The Stalwart, I get a bit more because it's double. That's 40, right? You can get it for like 36-ish. But that's kind of, you pays your money and you takes your choice, don't you? There are plenty of reviews out there. And if you think, those aren't the issues that I'm prepared to deal with for that price, it's like if you buy an Alfa Romeo, you know it's going to spend most of its life in the garage. Not your garage, the other purpose garage being repaired. If you want something reliable, you don't buy an Alfa Romeo. But that's the choice you make, isn't it?
I am a pure petrol head because I've owned an Alfa Romeo, and I promise you, like, there's no word of a lie. I drove that 30,000 miles without a fucking
problem.
Yeah.
I had an Alfa 156, which you couldn't switch off unless you were at home because it wouldn't start again unless you recharged the battery.
Funny, it's like I remember I had a friend who had a 146 Spider, is it, or something like that? Had to change the alternator, right? I've never seen so many tools around the floor of this car, and they basically had to remove the engine to put the alternator in. Like, it was just absolute nightmare.
It's not easy to remove the engine either.
Good luck when it comes to changing the windscreens in the Alfa Romeo Spider.
It's easy. You just buy a new one.
You buy a new one, and you have to cut a quarter of an inch off the screen.
No. I mean, you buy a new car. You don't bother trying to change it.
Let's have a look. I know one Jag that had bits missing off the sprue, missing completely, not loose in the bag. I can give you 5 examples of Revell not putting decals in the kit when I've had them.
Yeah,
seriously. And I don't think it's their fault. It's because those boxes, I think the decal used to slide out because they weren't in the box. They were like they're wrapped in the plastic. Got those side opening boxes, the decal slips out. But when I contacted Revell on this, on those 4 or 5 occasions, I've had it in about a week from Germany, that decal. So that's the problem. They used to slide out. That's what I think happened on that one. Solidgate is alive and kicking, I see. Have Airfix publicly responded to the noted issues yet? Hey, I like that. But they won't. They won't. I don't think they need to.
Yeah, it's a done deal, right?
It's a done deal now. I
They may well send an assassin out to India and shoot the people responsible, but hey ho.
They wouldn't do that, mate.
Like the Pink Panther strikes again.
That's my AdSense coming back now. Now I've lost it. Thank you there, James.
The thing is, they won't respond publicly, but you can guarantee that Dale will look at these reviews, or he'll have people look at the reviews. He'll take it. He'll have meetings with his team about how they can improve next time. Like I said about what they look at, and they are continuously looking at improving. That's what good companies do, or brands, whatever you've
got to look at. We are just a small community, a small little family here on Airfix and Chill. Just a small little. We've got our own little piece of the internet, the own piece of YouTube. What we say on here shouldn't be justified by what we're saying. Go look for yourself. Go on Brett Modeler. Go on Facebook. Go on and just have a look. How many people have said, "Yeah, it's got a little bit of sync, but nothing I've not seen. It's a little bit of it." Every kit might, I can't say every kit because that's not fair, but majority of kits will have some sort of sync somewhere. Look at the cars that come out. When and you watch it on YouTube. The first thing you do, they put a load of primer on the top. They say, "Oh, it's got a little bit of a sync mark there, a little bit."
Look at the Revel check your E-Type.
The E-Type Jag was phenomenal for it. This isn't a. I don't think sync is a major issue. If the sync has left a massive hole in it, then take a picture of the part, get your little label at the back of the box, go to customer service, customer service UK at airfix.co.uk, wherever it is, and just say, "I've got a problem with this part. Here's the information," and they'll go, "No worries, we'll send you out a part tomorrow," and you'll get it within 24 hours. That's what happens to me. "Oh, yeah, but you're a fanboy. You'll get it." No, it doesn't work that because it's a different part of the factory anyway. So, and it happens with most. There's always a bit of flash or a bit of, especially older tooling, a bit of flash or a sync. But I do say that go and look for yourself. I've not seen masses of people up in arms, going, "Oh, this is bad." Boom, boom. Kick out Airfix, boom, boom. They've just moaned about the fact the radio's upside down, and the people that are building it, they're saying it's going together like a dream, and that for me is more important. Nothing worse than getting the kit and you try and match up two halves and it just doesn't want to go together because you think you're building it wrong. No, it's the fucking model that's wrong. So yes, I think it's the only way any company will learn. I do like Airfix, but this all saddens me greatly. So who are you responding to? Send it back, question. Yeah, you would send it back, I guess, but it's up to you. But you get a replacement, but it means a couple of days waiting for another kit. But put some expanding foam in the box and the frames, and then some more expanding foam on top. Good shout. Did I not show you that kit last week? From Bronco. Well, I've still got it here. Or I put it away. There's a rocket from Bronco models.
Yeah,
all the bits are all linked in a box. It's quite nice, isn't it? But it's not on a sprue, so they can do that. So
nice, Julian.
Nice for that. Going down. I bought an Alfa Romeo. I think everyone did.
To be honest, I didn't buy an Alfa Romeo. I bought a Girera Runner. And that moped didn't like it sunny, didn't like the wet, didn't like the cold, didn't like it windy. It didn't like any weather.
Moz, if Airfix did a 124th Bearcat and it had cost 135 quid and came with QC issues, how would you feel? Well, it probably wouldn't because it'll get made in the UK at that sort of size anyway, so it wouldn't come with QC issues. But I do see your point, 130, but this is 40 quid. I don't know how I would feel. Well, firstly, I would just be elated that Airfix even considered building a Bearcat. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. That would be it for me. I would die a happy man. And I would have 12 of them on my shelf, and all I would do is build Bearcats. No one does a 124 scale Bearcat, I don't think. Oh, did
It'd be like the cat collector, wouldn't you?
Trumpeter did one day saying nobody does a 124 Bearcat. I just build them all day, every day. At least the Airfix Stalwart is going to be more buildable than the old Accurate Armor one. I think because they've gone, I wouldn't be surprised if you'll see a lot more Accurate Armor in a particular range.
Yeah, Revell will probably release it.
Yeah.
That won't make it any more buildable.
Yeah.
As new, it'll be marked new on the box as well.
CCC, if the stream was about Revell kit issues, we would be going on 24 hours later. Well, the trouble with Revell kit is we all know the true Revell kit is old kits reboxed as new, isn't it? And I think Alex's video, which one was it? And it was like dog shit, wasn't it? But there
were several. Oh, the Corsair, the 136.
Corsair. I think everything that's ever needed to be said about reboxing old shit is said in that video. We don't need to do a live stream on that one, because I think that's it. That's basically
their entire 32nd scale range from that era were terrible, all of them.
No, I don't. But no, I'm not saying that. I think there's some really good 132nd scale from.
To be honest,
now, but from the 60s boxings, they were all awful. You want to build a Thunderbolt? That's a joke.
Oh, that's a joke. Yeah. Revell will tell you it's a bad kit. As I say, we'll have to wait and see.
No, Revell will have a little note inside the kit that apologises that it's a crap kit.
Yeah.
No, Revell will tell you it's a bad kit by putting new on the box, like John said.
Yeah, that was a real miss for Airfix. That one, that they had a decal missing from the Jaguar. It was like one little letter, I think it was. That was a faux pas, definitely. But
that sort of calls back though, Moss, to what I was saying about like the Black Buck. Black Buck Gate, if we want to call Stolly Gate. It's just these little tiny things, and they are only little things that slip through. It's like little bits which just sort of scratch away at the reputation that they
just overlook, don't they?
I get
it's overlooking things. They need an editor, a chief editor that goes back and well, I suppose like Luke was, before, like somebody who will go and be very rivet countery and say,
just asking though, that Jaguar wouldn't that have been under Luke? Has he been gone that long? Wouldn't he have looked over that before they had?
Perhaps he did it on purpose.
Yeah. No, I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying, it's they do have researchers there.
Wasn't that the last kit he designed?
Was it he must have been involved in that Jaguar?
I think it was the last kit he designed or had work on.
Because it takes them a couple of years to go through.
Yeah.
Because they were hush-hushing that at the beginning of last year.
Everyone knows.
I can remember people saying, you want to bring a Jag out? And everyone was saying, just hang on, hold on. But they wouldn't say anything.
Yeah. Nigel, Fiat 131.
Morning.
Hello.
Good to see you, Nigel.
Hello, mate.
If you've not gone to Nigel's Fiat 131 channel, it's worth watching because it's a one-to-one scale kit. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's I tell you what, the stick mark in the top of that Fiat 131 at the back of the roof there, Nigel. That's going to take
a little stick mark there.
Yeah, that's going to take some time. I tell you.
He's going to have properly with the seam lines on it, so
it'll buff out, Nigel, won't it?
At least it's not
everything will buff out.
Oh my gosh, with all those decals.
So, Nigel, now you jumped in. Have you got any thoughts on this kit yourself?
Yeah, that's good.
You're building it.
I'm in the garage. I've just come in. I had you on my phone, so I've been listening to what you've been saying. And what I found very interesting is maybe for people that have joined, since you first said it, you've actually given a list of issues. I heard you say something about the ejector pin marks in the front affect the fit. You said something about the radio being upside down. That's just but
so the ones that I've got here was the radio upside down. missing the brass eyelets down the side. The light covers.
Side. Oh, on the canvas.
Yeah. So they haven't got the brass eyelets on one side. The light, is it the light covers they call it? You know, the ones that go in front of the headlights. They're solid, not like got lines in it, if you know what I mean. The sink and that's basically it. You know, all the shithousery of lack of quality control from India. That's basically it. But
yeah, saying that, saying that, I have to be honest. I saw Mr. Oxley's review, and his kit looks disgusting. It looks awful.
Yeah.
Your mine are much better. James's, I couldn't really see anything wrong with it at all. And also Jason's, I thought wasn't too bad. Having said that, it shouldn't be like that, because sink marks are basically, they're not designed in, but they can be designed out, which is why you will see kits, as I mentioned in my review. If you look at like an RFM King Tiger, the back panel's got lots of little lumps and bumps molded onto it, and if you look on the back side, they've put a pin on the tool so that the section of plastic, you don't have this great big thick section of lump that will sink. So it's all about section. You can make a complex shape as you want, but if you made a corrugated roof and you made it as corrugated on the inside and the outside, you would get no issues. But if you made it as corrugated on the outside and flat on the inside, you will get issues where you've got thin and thick sections. Funny enough, like the Stalwart's got on the back. So I think the kit is lovely. As I mentioned in my part 1 video that I put out today.
Yeah. And did you have a problem with the front panel?
I'll talk about that in a second. I think the simplest, a lot of people moaned about the seat frames being too fat and chunky. And I did comment in there, if Gecko made it or Mini Art made it, there would be 17 parts per seat, 4 of which would be to etch, adjusting brackets, and you would have little folded bloody PE things that hold the backrest on. As soon as you touch it, it just falls off. And then when it's all assembled, you can't bloody see it anyway. So I appreciate the way they've got it. Would have been nice if it was a bit finer. Yeah. But I think Airfix, as I said in the video, I don't think Airfix are building kits for expert modders that want to go and scratch build and stuff. I think Airfix build kits for everyone. You know, I would not dream of giving my granddad a Mini Art kit to build. My granddad's been long gone, but I would happily give him this Stalwart and he would build it absolutely fine.
Yeah.
The front end, there is an issue with the front end. Airfix have got something wrong, because I pointed out in my video that the drawing in the instructions does not reflect what you've got in the plastic, and as a result, the front end doesn't fit properly. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's you, and everyone's going to say it's you. But if you actually look at I haven't looked closely at yours, Moss, but if you actually look at the Airfix models.
I had that exact same issue when I built this morning.
What's that?
Have you sanded it all away?
I sanded that plate down underneath it.
The little It's there's a design issue in that front end, and I might even ask Dale to send me another Sprue A, and then I can probably make a video that he can put on to show people how to get around it. It's very, very simple for us. But if you look at the actual models on the Airfix website, they've all got gaps down the front. So there's been a bollock dropped somewhere along the line.
So, because I said that where as the sprue gates go in, we talk about like the front of the cab.
No, I'm talking about underneath the front.
The front, the lower, technically the lower hull.
The lower hull on the front.
Front plate.
Let me go bigger a minute. There you go. Deal. Solo layout.
That there.
Yeah.
Where it joins here.
Yeah.
Yeah. that is, you need to sand a load of material off, and underneath here, underneath there, you've got this. So you've got this recess here for the instrument panel to sit in.
Yeah.
On the back, that's got a big lump on it, and you've got to sand some of that away. Otherwise, you get gaps down here, down the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, is it me? Have I done something wrong? Can you take me off my camera now, please?
Yeah. Okay.
Is it me? Have I done something wrong? So I went to the Airfix website because I know they've got pictures of their kits on there, and they've all got gaps down there.
Okay.
So I haven't looked at yours closely, but have you got a gap down the sides there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did mention the gap. Yeah.
With rust and mud.
Yeah. I've just. I'm gonna go big screen a minute so you can. Why can't I go on big screen? Well, hang on. Here you go. Let's try that. I am trying to get into focus. That's the problem, isn't it?
No, just need to back off a little bit with it. Yeah.
Look at it from the side, Moss.
There you go. Almost. There you go.
Yeah,
There
you've
you
covered mud. It won't matter on you. It won't matter on yours. It doesn't go.
That looks great.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a gap there.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly it. The kit is designed for a perfect fit, and the back end is an absolutely perfect fit. If you look at the instructions, if anybody's got one not built, look at the instructions.
That's part 4, isn't it? Or 5?
Part 4, yes, you're right. If you
Yeah.
look at the instructions here, you go to the cam if you want to, Moss.
Okay.
You can see.
Well, I've lost you again. There you are.
You can see here. My fingernails are disgusting. I've been building the gearbox. You can see here. They've got like a cutout in there where that piece goes in, but there's no cutout there for it to go into. It's just flat.
Okay.
So I think it's a problem that everybody's going to have. And what I was thinking, I might ask Dale to send me another Sprue A, and then I'll try and clean fingernails, make a video to show how to correct it, and then he can actually use that, because they're not going to retool it for that.
No. Yeah.
The other thing I find very weird, sorry, I'm not trying to steal the show, I'll finish off on this. The other thing I find very weird is when you start looking around at videos of these things, some of them have got bolts around the windows and some haven't. It's really weird.
A lot of them have got countersunk bolts because the windows are bolted in from the inside.
Yeah. So you've got a countersunk screw on the outside.
A countersunk screw and a bolt.
Right.
Yeah.
And some, if you look at the chieftain's hatch, it's got these huge, great bolts sticking out. And then if you look at that guy from Mr. Bob, whatever his name is, he's got one he's restoring, but it's the old style with it's the 620.
Mr. Hughes.
No, that's not Mr. Hughes. It's someone else. But then I found one from Sweden or Norway or something. This guy restored it to swim in, and it was all flush around the front. So very strange. The other thing I wanted.
And the fact we're talking about small things shows you how far Airfix have gone. If they want to be the best, it's clearly evident what they need to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a fair comment to that.
Basically, they'll never be the best as long as they've got their company based in the UK. They'll never be the best. How can they possibly compete with Chinese?
They've made a Stalwart. You know, we didn't have a Stalwart before. I mean, what I'm really hoping is that this is the basis for a Saracen as well, because nobody makes a Saracen. You know, you can get 3D printed ones, and that's about it. There are some old, I think it was an old, can't remember. Was the accurate armor? There was one anyway, which are as rare as head's teeth. But, you know, kudos to Airfix for actually looking at a kit that a lot of people, you know, it was pretty abandoned for many years, and these are fairly minor points. Yeah, we'd all like to see them to have not made the little silly mistakes and do things which we would like to be better at that price point. But I don't think any of them are game changers, are they? None of them are,
Nigel,
killing the deal.
I'm glad you're on, right? Because I've had it confirmed that the plastic in this box, even though it's green, is the same plastic that's in the Jaguar, which is grey. All they've done is coloured it. Now, from your experience, I've watched your video about the sprue, about the sink, and you were saying that different colours react differently.
Yeah.
Phil Mitchell says Bandai never seen sink marks, but they have different colours on the same sprue. If they can do it, why can't Airfix?
Right. Bandai are, other than Trumpeter with their 1/350th aircraft, they put colours on one sprue as well. Those three colours are not moulded at the same time. They mould a partial sprue. They have a partial tool. This is how they do their. Luke was wondering about this. They do their working hands, don't they? It's molded in one hand and it works. What they do is they mold like the first part of the finger and then the last part of the finger, and they'll mold that in a temperature that in a plastic that has a high melting point. And then that comes out of there, and that sprue will be incomplete with incomplete fingers. And then that goes into another sprue, and they overmold. It's called overmolding when you mold onto another part. They overmold a cooler setting plastic so it doesn't affect the plastic that was done before. So that way you get moving parts molded in the same thing. Okay?
Fuck it out.
What Bandai is very, very clever. What Bandai, I've done it with injection systems where you overmold onto existing plastic parts and you're like clamping those parts in place. What Bandai do, the reason they don't have sink marks is because their processing, their tool design, their testing, their materials are perfect. Bandai are perfect. However, if you try and put an oil wash on a Bandai kit, it turns into Kendall mint cake. So everybody's got their faults.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
also, the price point on Bandai kits is considerably higher for a similar sort of thing.
To be fair, that may be a British distributor thing, not Bandai.
Quite possibly, yeah. Quite possibly.
QQQ, how will Airfix get the feedback regarding QC issues on this kit? From a few people reviewing it, or on YouTube, or through feedback complaints channels? If anyone's got a dodgy kit, then they will obviously they will complain to it, or they'll go back to their model shop where they bought it from and say, here, can I have another one, please? Because this one's got a missing part. We got short shot on this one, blue.
It's got a short shot.
Yeah, that's what they'll do.
What if they come from Birmingham? They won't talk like that.
That's just Moss doing an impression of my normal voice.
I'll say, right, I bought this bloody kit, right, and it's fucking shit.
I went downtown yesterday.
Birmingham talking Punjabi.
Never get
I'm going to do the one-cheek sneak on it.
Yeah. You'll never get. The trouble is, though, they will. You'll never get shit on in Birmingham because the seagulls fly upside down because there's nothing decent to shit on, is there? Like,
Hey, we enjoy Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you build that dragon kit, you will encounter problems. The Saracen and the Saladin, they don't do it no more because I was told it was that bad that they wouldn't release it again. That's the issue. That Saracen, they did. Was it 135th or was it 148?
35th, I think.
It was 35th.
I think it was.
And apparently
on eBay recently.
And it was expensive, but it's not a good kit. And I don't know really.
And that Maz, the Scud launcher, that Dragon Scud, that's awful. Accuracy, quality, buildability, instructions. It's just everything wrong with it. Comes in a nice box, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I see High Altitude's back. Hi, my friend. I hope you're well.
Yeah.
We'll get you back on at some point. We'll get you back on at some point.
It's a big deal. Brett is back.
Nice to see you, Brett. Yeah, nice to see you.
As a matter of fact.
But yeah. Tank kits do not require filling. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't think it's blown out of proportion. I think people are getting their Stalwarts now, and if they feel that the sink is too much, they'll send it back. But like I've said, I've not seen much in the sense of it's got sink. As Nigel will tell you in his video, most kits have some sort of sink, but it's probably seen more because it's a green kit, not a grey kit. And the reason they have it green is because green's for armor. That's the only reason.
But so somebody commented on my video that they did what's it called? I've forgotten the name of it. What's the little thing they've just done? The little 4x4.
The ferret.
The ferret, thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody commented the ferret was absolutely fine, and that was the same plastic. And then somebody else commented the ferret was for the St. Mark's too. So it is a quality control issue, and not everybody's getting the same kit.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
To Oxley, with a kit that bad, I would have made a very, very big point in that video about using that model to show viewers how good Airfix are at responding to problems. Because if I took a photograph of those sprues, and I would have done the review and said, this is really bad. I can't believe Moss is nothing like this, because you did the first review. So Peter had a comparison.
Yeah.
And what I would have said is, I'm going to get in touch with Airfix to see if they'll sort me out. And then come back and said, review part 2, here's the new kit from Airfix, and look at it, it's bloody lovely.
Yeah.
That's what
which Airfix would have done.
Exactly.
I don't doubt that.
And they did it with me with the Liberator.
Yes.
Airfix are good as gold. Their spares department are brilliant, as are Revell. Revell are awesome as well.
Yeah, they are. It's also worthy of note, that even if you have an old kit that is out of production, you contact Airfix for a spare. If they have it, they'll send it you.
Yeah.
I had a Sheridan tank 5 years ago. They sent me a spare set of tracks for it.
Did they?
Yeah. Because the tracks just snapped it off.
We know Wings would as well.
Yeah.
If they've got it.
If they've got it, they'll send it you. If they haven't, they can't do anything about it because it's out of production.
But I did hear what was said earlier on about the PE and stuff, and I do think Airfix need to up their game. You talked about cost, Boston. I put a comment in there about, even if I put the price by £5, I would have paid it. I mean, they had it in the KT for those little badges on the front and back. They didn't really need to, but they did, probably because Academy made it. But I think they could have given us a photo etch grill to go alongside the plastic part, and the cost would have been. There's lots of photo etch manufacturers in this country, and the cost would have been nothing.
Yeah,
you think about it, a photo etch fret that would be like an inch square, and you want 10,000 of them, because they don't make 1 inch square. They make like a sheet, like an 8-inch sheet, and then you chop them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of PE producers in this country.
There is.
Because all the railway stuff is produced.
Yeah. There's massive. Remember the massive Titanic photo etch sheets that I reviewed? They were made in the UK.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Bloody hell!
And Yeah, they could have done it, but I just think the bit that's got me about this Stalwart more than anything is they brought out the Anson, which is gorgeous. The Walrus. Looking at it because I've got the menu on my left. The Walrus is gorgeous, other than the wheels got quite sick. The B24 is gorgeous, other than the wheels. The Beaufighter is lovely, and then you've got the Jaguar, the Tornado, the Lysander, the Sea. They're all bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
Really well designed, beautifully presented, with loads and loads of options and loads of spare parts. What happened here? What happened with the Eurofighter? What's going on?
I built the old, the old 48 scale Fury that they used to build in the 80s.
Yeah.
I built that, and then I built the Bulldog, and they're in a different league.
Bulldog. It was the same ago with Topchest. Remember the Wildcat came out, and that was all out of shape and awful. Yeah. And then they did the Hellcat, and that's absolutely awful. But the Dauntless and the Avenger are two of the best 32nd scale kits money can buy.
Can I just quickly jump onto this? Right. So, Academy does not design tooling for Airfix. Airfix do all the design, everything. They then go to Academy to create the tooling for them. At the same time of creating that tooling, they have an agreement that the Academy will manufacture the kit from that tooling. The tooling is still owned by Airfix.
Yeah.
Instructions are still Airfix. The decal sheet, quickly on this, I still think they're Cartograph.
Academy.
They are Academy, are they?
They are Academy, yeah.
And the reason you have photo etch in that Academy kit is because Academy make their own photo etch.
Yeah.
And that's
that Academy for this one then.
Because I'll be a skeptical bastard here, all right? Because I think that India's got them by the balls, and they're saying, look, we need more tooling from you to create more kits, so we make some more money. You can reduce the price on the kit. Okay.
How much was the KT?
35.
Yeah.
35 quid. 31 from Alex, who was 10%.
You got a perfect kit with perfect instructions with photo etch. That was really easy to build. Very, very similar in price to the very, very complicated, as far as I'm concerned, inaccurate wheel kit.
Do you know what? I totally agree with you. I think Academy done Airfix a blinder, but I also think that to sweeten the deal with that Academy kit, they had to then rebox a load of their tanks in 135th because it was all done around the same time. I think that was the deal. There was definitely
tanks were way before. The tanks were done way before the K2, weren't they?
No. The K2, they brought out a range of tanks a year before the final edition of when all the tanks, I believe, came out about a year or two before the actual ambulance, because I think they designed the ambulance off the back of that deal with reboxing their kit. Look up, mates. Look up M3 Stuart Honey Academy kit to Airfix, and then see when the ambulance was released. I think there's about 2 or 3 years in between the two, but yeah. So, you know,
the thing is, it also takes 2 to tango, so it could be Academy just didn't want to do it.
Exactly, but then, you know, remember that, you know, that's that, you know, I think I agree with you, Nigel. I think the Academy tooling is plastic is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I really do.
Having built the Academy / Airfix Tiger 1, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, Academy are very, very good kits with lovely plastic and great instructions and everything, but they do tend to be a little bit simplistic. which is exactly where Airfix are when you compare them to the likes of Linear, RFM.
Yeah.
So they're a perfect partner. They're a perfect partner.
Yeah.
But maybe Academy, like Alex said, maybe Airfix messed them about with payment for the.
That's allegedly, all right. Okay.
Who made the ferret?
It's not even, it's maybe.
Sorry, no, John, what was that?
Is the ferret made in India, or is it made in Academy?
India.
Oh, it's India.
What?
I'll soon find out. One second, I've got one here.
You've got one there, have you?
Oh.
I've got one too somewhere. No, it's very difficult. As I said, I think Academy done a blinder with that ambulance and the
Ferret is made in India.
Underweight truck as well.
India.
Yeah. So who knows what the deal was with Academy? No one really does, do they?
Is the truck made in Korea?
Yes.
The truck's made in Korea as well, yeah. But if you're outsourcing to a company that can do a tooling and remember the design work's all done at Airfix with their designers.
Yeah.
But if you have a company that can do a tooling and produce and release and do the decal, decals and a little bit of photo etch, why would an Airfix go down that road again? But then
the Cromwell was made by, not made by, but it was produced by Academy as well, wasn't it? That was designed by Airfix. Yeah. And that is a very easy build. Yes, it's got the wrong number. I mean, the new one is corrected, but it goes together really easily.
Has anybody got the new Cromwell? Because there's one tank I didn't buy in the deal. But I was going to look at that and see whether that one, if the tooling's left Academy now and has ended up in India.
I didn't get any for the shop because I sold a bunch of the others. So I'm not sure what the market is for it, really, for a corrected one. Because if you built it once, you're unlikely just to buy it again because it's got corrected wheels. You've probably either already done that or you don't care. So
just get the Tamiya.
Yeah.
Or get the Tamiya one, exactly, yeah.
Blockstein, they had a deal with Thunder Models, but I don't believe they released the tractor.
They never did, did they?
The Scammell Pioneer, wasn't it? They never done the Scammell either, did they?
No.
But I think that they realised there was too much photo etch in that. That's why they didn't bother.
Yeah.
Anyways, bloody hell, it's gone 10 o'clock. My final thought on this is that when, and I'm going to say as somebody who does unboxings, when somebody does an unboxing, do your own due diligence. Look at the videos. I blow them up so you can see all the parts and everything. And also you can't really judge a kit until you've actually built it. And when I do my roundup, I always say, and I put the emphasis back on you by saying, is this a sort of kit you'd like to build? Are you going to buy one? Are you going to build it? Let me know in the comments box below. And that then opens up then and say, look, no, I'm not justifying you to purchase a kit. I'm giving you all the angles to make a judgment for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think if you can take reviews that way, and I think Nigel will agree and Alex will agree, we're not telling you this kit's going to be the best, it's going to fit well. We're just showing you it's a first look at what's come out. And if you want to, and I think it's right when people say this, if you want to really judge a kit built, and especially for Airfix, go to the website when they put up the built versions, because you'll clearly see the issues. There are issues in the pictures on the Airfix website, and like I said, like the hatches, all the kits I've seen with the hatches open, they've left the pin marks, the ejector pin marks inside. So whether they thought it was going to be a bitch to find out, I don't know. But anyways, on that bombshell, don't trust us. Trust your own gut instinct. Thanks for
just
watching.
say as well.
Just trust Nigel.
Can I just say, in my review, a lot of kits I review now I'm given. All of the Verifier stuff, all of the RFM stuff, some of the Gecko stuff I'm given. I will never ever sit there and tell you that this is the best plastic mod on the planet because I've been given it. I am absolutely honest. And the people who give me the kit are happy with that. Because you will notice when I do reviews and I'm like, this is amazing, this is brilliant, people say, well, if Nigel says it must be good, it must be good, because otherwise he'd put it to pieces. So, you know, the Verifier stuff, every kit I've got from has had parts missing.
There you are.
They're always first off the line. But they sort it out, go from there.
Right. Anyways, we're going to end it now. Thanks all for watching. Bless you all, and we'll see you next Monday. And go and buy a Stalwart. You'll love it. Catch you later. Take care. Links in the chat. Bye-bye.